FOJ number 80. It's been a couple weeks, Jason. What's up?
Well, a lot's up, Jeff. A lot going on. It's hot, and I have no air conditioning in my house.
I can tell you're wearing the tank top, showing the guns.
I'm in a tank top. I don't know if I'd call it the gun show, but, it's a balmy 82 degrees in my house right now.
That's way too warm.
Yeah, very much so. So I got a guy coming tomorrow morning, and hopefully he can solve our problem. However, I have a feeling since our unit is 23 years old, we'll be looking at a new one.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the way that goes.
Yeah. So,
well, hopefully they get it resolved sooner rather than later.
Yeah, no air conditioning in August in Chicago, not a good combination.
Is it? I mean, and hopefully it's cooling down there a little bit. I was there in July, right? It was crazy hot.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like low 80s this week. It was nice yesterday, but again, it's August, so it's gonna get warm.
It still sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the high today was 83. So
that's too much. You get over. I feel it when it's over 74 in the house. I'm like, no, we got to lower this.
Yeah. I like to run a little bit lower because I'm a bigger guy, and bigger guys tend to get warm pretty easily. So I run cooler than most.
Yeah, well, I'm the same way. The layer of insulation is great for the winter, not so great for the winter or for the summer.
100%.
It's been a couple weeks. I have a list of things to cover. You've got some things to cover. Like, where do you want to? I guess I should probably start with this one first that you and I were just getting to know.
Yes.
Before we hit record. So I'm testing out this new software called Maneku. But I've basically AI enabled this show. The FOJ show is now AI enabled in more ways than one. And so I want to introduce the audience to FOJ AI, sometimes called FOJ. So go ahead and say hello.
Good evening, gentlemen. FOJ is officially online and ready to ruin Jason's betting record. I'll be here all season, so I hope the coffee's strong and the Bears are stronger. Jeff, the fact that you waited until 83 degrees to do something about it tells me everything I need to know about your decision-making timeline.
Okay, well, thanks. I'm the one with the 83 degree problem. So again, AI, not exactly 100% accurate, but that's what I think what you can look forward to, tonight and maybe in the future is I'm in a closed beta test of this software, but I've programmed a personality, and this is going to be our back checker or sounding board, whatever else we decide to throw at it. Let's see how it performs.
Well, it sounds like he's also going to be our shit talker. So that's that thing. And for the record, FOJ, I already blew my own betting record. So there.
Jason, I prefer the term objective performance analyst. But yes, essentially that. I heard I already blew my own betting, and I don't even need the rest of that sentence to know where it's going.
All right, well, FOJ or FOJ, I haven't settled on a name yet. Maybe that's something that's a work in progress. I'm not sure what we'll call this thing. Originally, it was going to be FOJ AI, but that's a lot to say every time I want to reference it.
Well, here, we can send it out to the masses. Go ahead and comment on whatever streaming service you choose to listen to us. All 15 or 16 listeners, go ahead and throw in the comments. What can we name this bastard?
Yeah, well, okay. The streaming service, I don't know if any of us will actually check that. So why don't you just text us? Because you probably have our phone number if you're listening.
Fair enough.
Let's see. FOJ number 80. Notable Chicago Bear for number 80?
Let's see. I believe I got a couple, actually. Curtis Conway, I think, was number 80.
Yep.
Bernard Berrien.
Yep.
Was number 80. I think ex-tight end Tim Reitman was number 80, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe. I don't know. We can ask FOJ, but who else you got?
I know there's others. I can't think of any others, but Conway and Berrien were the ones that stuck out for me.
Well, Jimmy Graham was also number 80 for the 10 minutes that he was here in Chicago. What was the other one that you mentioned?
I sure thought his name was Tim Reitman.
Tim Reitman, wear number 80 for the Chicago Bears. Is that right, FOJ? Just thinking.
Conway is confirmed. Curtis Conway wore number 80 for the Bears from 1993 to 1999. so Jason had that right. Earl Bennett also wore number 80, switching to it after wearing 85 as a rookie in 2008 and keeping it for his final 5 seasons with the team. I couldn't confirm a Bernard Berrien or Tim Reitman in that number's history, gentlemen, so those names might be worth a closer look.
Okay, well, I can definitely confirm it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair
So
enough.
there you go. Maneku / FOJI / FOJ AI. Name in progress.
God, I totally forgot about Earl Bennett.
Yeah, Earl Bennett was another one.
Yeah, I totally forgot about him.
2008 to 2013 as I look here at my screen.
Okay. Nice. I don't know if there's a current number 80 because what is it? A lot of
Qadir Ismail.
What? Who?
Qadir Ismail.
Okay, well,
number 80. I'm not even sure who that is.
Yeah, because a lot of the receivers that
a tight end.
Okay, of substance have gone to like either the single digits or like the teens, and the tight ends. I know, what is it? Loveland's 84 and Komet's 85, and I know they got the third one, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I know he's not 80 either.
Well, I think he's a rookie out of Samford, not Stanford, Samford.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, why don't we start with the Chicago Bears? Because I don't know what's going on, and you hit me right before we hit record that somebody got hurt.
Yeah, so today was their first training camp practice in pads, which a lot of people have been looking forward to. They've been there last few days in what the coaches refer to as their underwear, meaning jerseys and shorts, and that's pretty much it. So today was in pads, and in one-on-one drills, Coby Bryant, safety, out 8 to 10 weeks with a hyperextended left knee, a bone bruise, and a small fracture. That puts him out anywhere from week 3 to potentially week 5.
Oof.
Yeah, so he's most likely going to miss the Panthers game, the Vikings game, and I'm going to go ahead and say he misses the Eagles game and the Jets game, because when you're talking a knee, I think you've got to take the long route instead of the short route. So I'm guessing they're going to give him a full 10 weeks on that, which means Cam Lewis steps into the starter's role.
I mean, is there a free agent that we go get?
I don't know if there's one that's available.
Can we get Byard back?
He signed somewhere.
Yeah, he did. Like Jets or something silly, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. They might try and sign somebody for some depth, but there's nobody starter quality that I know of that's available.
They get snapped up. He's with the Patriots right now.
Okay, there you go. So, yeah, that hurts. He was 3 years, $40 million. That was their big free agent acquisition, him and the linebacker. So, yeah, that one's going to stay.
Yeah, I don't like that one bit.
No. I mean, I'm glad it happened now as opposed to, a couple weeks from now, but it still sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a good time for it to happen.
No.
Because like you said, it's 8 to 10 weeks, which, they hold them out probably till what? Depending on how things go. I'm not sure when I have to look at their schedule, but when's their bye week?
I don't know. I know, what is it? If he came back after 10 weeks, that'd be week 5 against the Packers.
Okay. So week 10 is their bye, which is actually a pretty good spot for bye, right in the middle of the season.
They're not going to wait that.
Yeah. But still, to miss, a quarter of the season already before you've even put pads on.
I know. The good news is he doesn't have to have surgery. So, just rehab and whatever, physical therapy, I'm sure. But sucks. Totally sucks.
How do you not have a surgery with, what is it, a bone bruise, a hyperextended knee, and break something, fractured something?
Just a small fracture. So I'm assuming the fracture just needs to kind of heal. The hyperextended knee, I guess, once again, that stuff just needs to, because nothing's torn, right? Mm-hmm. So there's nothing that actually needs to be repaired. I think it's just a matter of rest and stretch and, all that kind of thing. So, and then a bruise, obviously, it just kind of, you got to let it heal. So,
yeah. Well, that sucks. Way to be a downer, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. That came across about 9:30 this morning. So it happened pretty early in practice. And anytime they say, a player is carted off the field,
Yeah.
it's never good.
That's not good.
Yeah. So,
Well, what else is going on with the Bears?
the other big deal, I guess, Caleb Williams took the podium. He shaved the beard. Now he's down to the goatee, looking a little more clean. He also lost supposedly 10 to 15 pounds to be a little leaner, move a little bit better. He's back to his playing weight in college. I guess he gained a little bit of weight last year, probably because he needed to learn how to take a beating, and then learned that, obviously that beating didn't come nearly as often. So now he re-lost the 10 to 15 pounds and now can move a little bit better and, just be a little bit more mobile and all that good stuff. So.
Well, I like the fact that he's treating us like a prize fighter, right? He's losing the weight. He's shaving the beard to make weight.
Yeah.
5 pounds of that might have been his face.
Yeah. So, and Ben Johnson comes out, says all the right things. Caleb's had a great off season. He looks terrific. He's done everything we've asked of him and more. He's the true leader of this team. Blah, 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 blah. So, it's just normal preseason stuff. So it's exciting that they're back in camp, but it's like, all right, we'll see once they hit the field. Everybody wins at training camp. So,
well, we got the first game next Saturday.
I know.
Preseason against Cleveland.
That's exciting. So, and I'm sure we'll see, we'll probably see the starters for a couple drives. So that'll be good.
Tickets as low as $65.
Nice. That's not too bad.
Yeah, which is crazy considering that weeks 2 and 3 tickets as low as $14 for Cincinnati and Tennessee.
Oh, for
preseason. Yeah.
$14, really?
$14 to go see the Bears at Cincinnati or the Bears at Tennessee. Preseason games. Again,
but they're still home against Cleveland, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever home means. I don't even know where they're playing.
Well, for right now, they're still in Soldier Field, and there's been zero talk of anything about the stadium for, I know we talked a couple weeks ago about it. All things are quiet on that front, which is kind of weird.
I think that's a good sign, though, for Illinois.
I do, too. I don't want to see them commit to... As I've said, at the end of the day, if they go to Indiana, they go to Indiana. But I hope they don't commit to that until they absolutely have to.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they don't have to build a new stadium. It's not like they need a new stadium. They want one, but they don't have to. It's not a need.
No, but
it'd be nice.
There's a lot of things that we have in our lives that are not a needs.
Yeah.
But we consider them. Well, like air conditioning.
Well, that's a need.
Yeah.
That's a need. So.
Okay.
But yeah, no, not much on the stadium. Not much really going on the Bears outside of that bad injury today. All the videos I've seen are Caleb hitting guys deep in practice, which, you expect. They did say the offense is further ahead than where they were last year in terms of offense versus defense of the Bears, where early on it was the defense that just totally dominated. But this year that doesn't seem to be the case. They like what they've seen from Burden. They like what they've seen from Rome. Manungai was missing from practice for a while up until today for some unknown reason, but he was there today. They said they don't expect to see a whole lot of DeAndre Swift in the preseason. I don't know what that means, but other than that, things are quiet up at Hallis Hall.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I think quiet is good.
I did see something because the new Madden is either out or about to come out, and so Caleb Williams is rated an 85 overall at the moment, which is
fair.
Pretty good, I think. But he has, when's the last time you played a Madden game?
Probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago against one of my kids.
Okay. Did they have X factors back then?
I don't think so.
So this is something
or if they did, my kids failed to notify me about it.
Which I can see absolutely happening. So Caleb Williams has these X factors, and basically these are like stat bonuses in certain situations of the game or whatever it may be.
Okay.
Or in the middle of a play. So he's got the dots X factor, which greatly increases pass accuracy on medium throws and rewards players for completing targeted passes within the zone. So basically a medium range passer.
Okay.
He's got the Agile Extender Superstar ability, which makes him virtually guaranteed to dodge the first blitzing defensive back.
That's fair.
And then he's got a Gutsy Scrambler Superstar trait that significantly boosts your chances of completing accurate throws on the run and under defensive pressure.
I think that's fair too. I would almost argue he's more accurate on the run than he is in the pocket.
Yeah, that's almost like that's the strategy, right? Is run around and then look for a broken play.
Yeah, exactly. Or just get him on the move.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's you know what? They've updated his rating. He's a 90.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
That is.
He's also
good.
Let's see what else. He's got the brick wall. While in the pocket, passers with this ability are almost guaranteed to break the first sack attempt by any blitzing defender. So I think this is a little bit of an update to what I saw originally. I was looking at 26. That's why we're in Madden 27, man.
Wow.
Crazy. The extender ability to break the first sack attempt by a defensive back. So basically he's tough to sack. Reduce penalties, throwing penalties when he's running. And he has a long range dead eye. Have elite accuracy on all unpressured deep throws while their feet are set. Which wasn't, I don't think, early in the season.
No.
I mean, we kept talking about him overthrowing everybody.
Yeah, I think that kind of sort of evolved. It got better. I don't think it was ever great, but I think it got better. But it is something that he needs to continue to improve upon.
Yeah. Well, he's got a throwing power of 97, which is pretty darn good.
Yeah, he does.
That's saying he's got one of the strongest arms in the NFL.
He does. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, say what you want. The Madden team does a excellent job. They're better probably at scouting players than most NFL teams.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He was also named, what is it? I think the NFL does a top 100 every year. Last year, the Bears didn't have anybody in the top 100, and I think he made the list at number 51. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 51, and Tooney made it 49.
Yeah, and I think those are the only two. I don't know if they've released all of it yet, but I know those are the only two I think that have made the list so far.
Yeah, I think they run it throughout the preseason.
Yeah, so I think, hey, Caleb at 51 with there being, 30 teams? I think that's fair.
I think it's fair. Plus, this is his third year.
Yeah.
Really his second year. You want to consider kind of the Ben Johnson first year as a restart.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he does not regress.
Yeah, no, I think he's in good shape. We just, like you said, hopefully he doesn't regress and continues to ascend, and hopefully he becomes the superstar we all hoped he would be when we drafted him. Still say, I don't care what anybody says. If they redrafted today, he would still be the guy. For me.
I think so too.
I mean, there's some good quarterbacks out of that class, but I still think he has the highest ceiling.
Yeah, it's too early to argue that he was a bad pick at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So.
If anything, last year kind of proved that he was the right pick. Let's see what year 2 in Ben Johnson's office does, and the rest of the team. Concerned about the defense again.
Yeah,
all the more reason to have a pass rush is when your back half gets strong and one of your key defensive signings, goes down for at least the first quarter of the season.
Yeah, you do need to figure out who's going to rush the quarterback. So.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we convince Aaron McDonald to come to us instead of to go to the Rams.
Yeah, apparently that's still being worked out.
Okay.
Oh,
is there anything else going on in the NFL world?
Didn't Montez Sweat sneak into the top 100 at 98?
I don't think so.
I thought
didn't see him on the list anywhere.
Did.
But I don't know if it's deserved or not.
No, yeah, I don't think it is. But I thought he snuck in there somewhere. But anyway.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see if I don't know. So what was the question? If Montez Sweat was in the NFL top 100?
Yes.
All right. Let's see if FOJ AI knows the answer to that. Just thinking. I wanted him to think a little harder on this one.
Jason, you were close. Sweat didn't sneak in at 98. He actually came in at number 91 on the top 100. with 10 sacks last season, leading the Bears in sacks for all 3 years he's been in Chicago. I'd say he earned it.
Okay, well, leading the Bears in sacks is kind of like being the fastest kid in fat kid school.
The fastest fat kid, the tallest short kid, all that kind of. Yeah,
right. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, if that's true, I stand corrected. But it wasn't showing up in the AI overview.
Yeah, I thought I had heard that somewhere the more I thought about it. So, cool. Whatever.
Okay.
Doesn't really mean much, but, everybody likes to rank stuff. Everybody likes to put a number on stuff. And, just something to criticize and argue about and debate.
Yeah. Is there anything else going on in the NFL world?
Not that I've heard.
Okay.
Nothing crazy. I know, like I said, the Rams are still working on Aaron Donald to see. I don't think he's going to come back for a full season, but I do think he will be back in some capacity at some point to help them, in the playoffs. I mean, they have to be the favorite, don't you think?
I mean, I think on paper, yes. But, maybe he's pulling an Aaron Rodgers and sits out training camp.
Could be. He may sit out till like week 4 or 5 of the season. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see how things are going first.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's been gone, 2 or 3 years, so.
Mm-hmm. Hey, did you see Deebo re-signed with the 49ers?
No.
Yeah. On a 1-year deal, mostly because Ricky Pearsall is out for the season again.
Oh, I knew he was out. I did not realize he was out for the season.
Yeah, they put him on the injured reserve list
already.
I think 2 days ago.
That's too bad.
Yeah, man, talk about a hexed career.
Yeah.
Dude gets shot after he gets drafted, misses that year, and then he misses like half. He's missed I think of the 3 years, he's only played like half of a season.
Oh wow, that's too bad because in the games that he did play, he was pretty good.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was a first round draft pick, so
yeah,
you expect to hit on those. But I've always been a Deebo fan, and so I'm happy he's back with the 49ers.
Yeah, he kind of does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a slot wide receiver, bulldog fullback.
Yeah,
I mean, just name it.
Yeah, no, Deebo Samuel's a solid player, so that's a good addition for them. That's good.
All right, what else is on our list? I have 1, 2, 3 things left on mine.
Well, I think we have to talk about the return of Showtime to Chicago Blackhawks hockey.
The Kaner
making his triumphant return on a 2-year deal worth $16 million, which is crazy to me because when he played for Detroit last year, he was only paid like $3 million, and the Hawks are paying him $8 million a year for 2 years.
What, veteran leadership? Is that what that is?
I guess he becomes their third highest player because they extended Bedard at $15 million per year for 5 years, and then they extended the defenseman they traded for, Bowen Byram. I think he's 12. No, yeah, I think it's $12 million a year for 6 years, I think, and then now you got Kane at $8 million for 2 years. So those are your 3 vets, and I think you've got a couple other guys that just kind of fill in. But hey, according to their front office, they're gunning for a playoff spot this year.
Okay, well, for a team that won 29 games last year, 30 games,
yeah, of
that'd
course,
be a pretty big jump. Didn't they lose? Like they were the worst in their division, right?
Yeah, and Connor's out till November because he screwed up his shoulder, I guess, in workout in July. So, so he's out for the first probably about the first month of the regular season. But hey, it is what it is, but it is so exciting. I mean, this town was buzzing for a couple of days when that signing was announced. And his first game back at the United Center is going to be unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. He was definitely one of my favorites. We talked about it last time, but he's a Blackhawks legend and should never be paying for a meal or a drink anywhere in the city.
Yeah. I guess I didn't know this. I guess he lives here in the off season.
Really? I thought he'd be like in Buffalo somewhere, but I guess if he put down roots here for such a long time, I guess I'm not too shocked about it.
Yeah, he said in his press conference, he's like, you know what? I live here. I love Chicago. Love the idea of coming back. he said it was the right time for him to leave the first time, but now that where the team's at, it seemed like the time was right to come back, and he can still play. I think he's 38, 37.
Well, see, that's what I was just trying to look up, because I'm looking up on ESPN right now, the roster. He's not even listed on the roster yet.
Yeah.
On ESPN.
So,
I was wondering what the difference is, if where does he fit from an age perspective? And I see a goalie by the name of Dave Nozzolillo, who's 46, and an Ian Cole, who's 37, and then everyone else is 32 or under.
Yeah, Ian Cole's a defenseman a free agent that they signed. I want to say Kane is 38.
Okay. Well, we can ask FOJ how old Patrick Kane is and see what he has to say.
Kane is 37, born November 19, 1988. So, Jason, you were right on the money, and he's still got a solid 5 years on your goalie Dave Nozzolillo to feel bad about.
Okay, so 37. He turns 38 in November. Hey, some hockey players play till they're 40.
Yeah,
it's a tough game, but hockey players are tougher. So, yeah, I think it's a good signing for the Hawks. I think it, completes what they're going to do this offseason, and they've got a nice mix of old guys and young guys, that are another year older. And I don't know if they get to the playoffs this year, but I think it does give them or make them a step closer.
I love it. Whether they're better or not, it's just good to see Patrick Kane back in the Hawks uniform.
Yeah, it's gonna be super awesome. So yeah, looking forward to that.
All right, what else you got?
Well, we have to talk about, of course, LeBron going to Philadelphia.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
What do you think about that?
I guess, are they the best chance to win a championship?
Well, let's see. That gives them a starting lineup of, what is it? Tyrann Maxey, Edgecombe. I forget his first name. I think it's Vince, but I'm not 100% on that. Jaylen Brown, who they traded for, Joel Embiid, and LeBron James. Which is pretty solid. And the rumor is that LeBron's going to play point guard.
Well, he's also as power forward, but positions, I guess, don't matter so much for them these days.
I'll bet they run the offense through him. And I don't think he's going to be relied on to score as much, but more of a distributor type guy, which he's obviously good at because he's good at freaking everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think he makes the Sixers a contender right up there with the Knicks.
Yeah. So right now their depth chart is Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, LeBron, and Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what were his other choices?
It was healthy.
If he can stay healthy,
yeah.
But also, can the players around him also stay healthy?
Yeah. And can LeBron stay healthy?
Yeah.
This is year 24?
something.
Something like that? Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Entire families have come and gone in the time that he's been in the NBA. Lineages have been born and gone away.
Yeah. Let's see, if this is year 24, then I think my son was born right before he was drafted.
Oh my gosh.
My oldest. I know, that's crazy. So
I guess I'll wait to see. I didn't follow too much of the NBA last year up until the finals, so I'm sure it'll be interesting regardless of whatever happens, but I'm not sure, what does the betting market say for NBA championships?
I couldn't tell you, but I bet FOJ could.
Yeah, let's see. Well, I'm looking at Kalshi right now because I don't know if it's tapped in, but right now Oklahoma's sitting at 22%, and the Spurs are also at 22%, and then the Sixers are at 12%.
What are the Knicks at?
Knicks are not even on this list.
Really?
Yeah, there's the only 3 teams that are listed for 2027 NBA champ.
So Kalshi thinks that the Knicks are a fluke. Is that what it'd say?
No, I think it's just this is the only thing that's showing up there right now, and I think there's probably a bunch of different of these props that are out there. I don't know if they consolidate them all into one at some point or have different ones, but you know what? Here we go. Knicks are at 9%. Okay, it helps if you click the more button, by the way. Knicks at 9%, Celtics at 5%, and then everything else is like 4, 3, 2. Let's see, less than 1%, the Washington Wizards.
That's fair.
Chicago is at less than 1%, so that's also fair.
Yeah, they're still a few years away.
Yeah, but as of right now, Oklahoma City and San Antonio are kind of running away with it, with Philadelphia distant third.
Okay. Well, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, we hope the Bulls take a step. They've got a long way to go, but with Caleb Wilson, I think they've got a player, and another year of Buzelis. Those two guys, hopefully can start to carry that team into the future. So we'll see.
Well, if you put $10 down on Philadelphia right now, you'd make $78.46.
That's not bad. I'm not going to do it, but
neither am I.
No.
Okay, what else?
I told you the gambling days are over.
Yeah, gambling days are over. That's fine. We're not, don't come to us for medical, legal, or sports betting advice.
Right.
We're just like FOJ AI, use at your own risk.
That's right. We do not give financial advice, nor do we give gambling advice. So.
Yeah, actually, I think that I put that into the instruction set, was to not portray betting advice as like financial advice. So did I get that right, FOJ AI?
Duly noted, gentlemen. I'm an AI, not Jim Cramer, and even he's wrong half the time.
All right. Well, there you go.
Fair point.
Yeah, this little Maneku program is pretty interesting. Yeah, short, medium, long responses, and do you want it to have a quick response versus accuracy? These are all the different things you have to tune. And the fact that it only takes a couple seconds to get a response back, I think, is kind of the interesting part. If I can figure out a way to make it faster, even better, because I've got it wired into like 3 different AI services right now.
Okay.
I have I'm using ElevenLabs for the voice.
Okay.
So every time you hear that, it's going off to my ElevenLabs account, calling an API, and costing me credits to do that. I think I've got it hooked up to Claude, I think, for like normal kind of AI lookup type stuff. And then it's transcribing everything we say, which is another service, which is called Groq, not the Twitter version of Groq. It's a different Groq, Groq.
Okay.
That is doing that. So there's a bunch of AI things kind of all happening here in the background. And the fact that, we may shorten it here in posts, once I get through the editing of the show, but it's taking 3, 4, 5 seconds. I think the longest one was 7 seconds where it kind of looked up, a couple things, but I mean, it's pretty amazing to think about it.
Oh, I am blown away. One, you're gonna be the reason a data center is gonna be built like that for you. Yeah, I think it's pretty awesome. Now, while it's thinking, could you still be talking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just not sure how to treat it yet, because if I don't want to talk over it either, right?
You're right.
Yeah. And
because
so
we don't know when it's going to start talking.
I can kind of see right when it's about to start, because what I see is I see the response start to come up.
Okay.
And then usually about a second or half second after I see it is when I hear the voice start to go.
Okay.
So yeah, a little bit of a lag time there. So I'm trying to figure out, how to best to kind of incorporate this, but
I just don't want to disturb it.
Yeah. Well, it is always listening to us, and it knows exactly what we just said. And so, theoretically, it should be able to keep up. Now, I'm not sure if it'll keep up with a 2-hour episode, because a lot of these AIs have a certain number, certain memory. And the transcript, which is really what it's doing, right? It's not listening to us. It's reading the transcript. So It's a step-by-step, right? Is the AI is joined to the session. It's just recording our 2 voices, transcribing that audio, and then the text is what the AI is actually reading, and then pushing that up to the cloud when it's being asked to provide information. And then once it gets the information, it's like, okay, it creates the response. Now I've got to push that to another cloud, right, to do the voice, and then pull that back down from that cloud with, here's what the voice sounds like.
Well, I'm impressed with just the whole process. And I like the accent you put on our little friend here.
Yeah. My theme was a little of like a Jarvis from Iron Man sort of,
Yeah, there you go.
snide kind of snarky kind of thing.
I like that.
Yeah.
Gives the pot a little flavor. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's definitely other personalities we can throw out there, different voices. So, may tweak it a little bit here and there. Again, I'm not kind of sold on the name yet. Got to kind of come up with a better one. But I also need the name. I want the name to be unique, right? So that it sits, it stands out from the conversation. So it knows when it's being referenced, and it can look back and comment on that.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is just wild.
It's
really,
nuts, dude.
Really think about it. It's free.
it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty wild. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
The last sports thing I have was today was Major League Baseball's trade deadline.
It was, and my wife shouted down, say, the Bears made the Cubs made a trade. I'm sure Jason will know all about it.
The Cubs made a lot of moves today. Actually, they made a lot of moves in the past 2 days. I think they've added something like 5 or 6 pitchers to their roster, including 2 starters. Who, let's see, Clay Holmes from the Mets, who used to pitch for the Yankees, and I think he pitched in San Diego. I could be mistaken by that, but he's coming off an injury. But really nice starting arm that they desperately need. And I think an even bigger hole that they filled was with Kevin Gausman from the Blue Jays, who fits right in at the top of their rotation. They DFA'd Jameson Taillon, so they got rid of him, and he actually wound up in Toronto today. But I think Holmes and Gausman are huge additions to the Cubs pitching staff. So your wife and Cub fans all over should be very excited for what the Cubs did.
So why wait till the deadline to do something about this? Because hasn't pitching been sort of the problem since the very beginning with all the injuries they had?
Yeah. I think you kind of need to see where your team is. The Cubs right now, I believe
they're 6.5 back from the Brewers.
They're 6.5 back, but they hold the top wild card spot in the National League by enough. I think it's like by 3 or 4 games. So they're pretty solid in the playoffs right now. And really in baseball, as far as the playoffs go, you just got to get there.
Yeah.
Obviously you like to stay out of the wild card round because it's only 1 game, but you want to get to the playoffs because once you get there, anything can happen. But I really think you have to like what the Cubs did. I know their fan base has been crying for them to do something, and they did a lot today. So I think if you're a Cub fan, you got to be happy.
Now, what if you're a Dodger fan?
I think if you're a Dodger fan, you gotta think just when you think they've done everything, they pick up arguably the best left-handed pitcher in baseball again and add to their rotation, and he's going to make his debut. We're talking about Tarik Skubal. He's going to make his debut here in Chicago, I believe, tomorrow night against the Cubs. But the rich get richer. I know people bitch. I know people complain. People are pissed. People are like, how can the Dodgers continue to do this? My argument is, a lot of teams could work the same way, and they just choose not to.
They're playing by the rules that have been set forth, and if you don't like it, change the rules.
That's exactly right, and I think the Dodgers, unfortunately, are going to be a reason why we possibly won't have baseball next year, because I think a lot of teams are not as easily able to operate like the Dodgers do, and the collective bargaining agreement is up at the end of the year. There's probably going to be a strike or a lockout, however you want to say it. And, I think owners want a salary cap. The players will never want a salary cap. They also want a salary floor. Owners, I don't think, would ever want a salary floor. So there's just a lot to figure out. They also I think the owners want to shorten contracts to what is it? You can only, the maximum length of a contract that you could sign a player from a different team is 5 years. That's what they want. And then re-upping your own guy is 6 years, where now guys are signing for 10, 12, I think was it Juan Soto signed like a 15-year contract. It's insane. It's gotten out of control, to be totally honest. Something needs to be done to kind of rein everything in. And baseball is the last sport without a salary cap. Football has it, basketball has it, hockey has it. Baseball is still like the wild, wild west when it comes to contracts, and the Dodgers take full advantage. And they've won the last 2 World Series. They currently have the best record in baseball again. And they're just gonna keep rolling. But my thing is, if you don't like it, go out there and beat them. Prove them wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is true for really anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got, I don't want to call them a bad actor, but you've got somebody who is exploiting the flaws in the system. And while nothing they're doing is illegal or, breaking the rules, a lot of people don't like it. So What happens? At some point, there's a revolution. And, that's government from the ages. That is, the boycotts, for spending. Like, it's just another form of that. It's people get sick and tired of it. And in this case, the people, right, are probably the other owners not being able to keep up with it. And so they're going to want to make systemic changes to do something. And the owners and the players, right, are part of that as well.
Yeah, they're going to want to make changes to prevent the Dodgers doing what they seem to do best.
The players have to love it because they just see it as a cash cow. If you can be good enough, you're almost an unlimited payday because of these deferred contracts.
Yeah, I mean, the players, and this is not just Dodger players. I think this is every player.
Yeah.
Has got to be like, hey, the potential for me to make unlimited money is out there.
Yep.
It's not. Is it going to happen for me? Not necessarily, but the higher the top tier contracts go, usually the average contract goes up, which means the lower level contracts go up. And I think if you ask any player, they applaud any player getting as much as they absolutely can. Yeah.
Well, that's because that's they all want to be able to be in the same position of not having a regulated income, which hey, nobody wants that.
Yeah, of course.
But at what point, is too much, and it hurts the system.
Some people say we're already there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I draw the current political climate's kind of like that, right? How many billions or trillions does somebody have to be worth? It's like, okay, congratulations, you won capitalism. You're going to have to get by, sorry, on only $999 million, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry you're so poor now.
Yeah. I mean, is it fair to cap somebody's earning potential? I don't really answer to that.
I don't either.
I have always lived by, the credo of never apologize for your own success. Usually a lot of this comes from jealousy, and
which is funny because 99% of the people that this affects, both probably in baseball and, just generally from an economic standpoint around the world, does not affect them at all.
Yeah, right.
Like if you were to say, okay, I'm not sure what the actual average salary is on the world, and maybe that's something that Maneku can look up while I'm kind of talking here, but you make a rule that's $1 less than that, and it wouldn't affect like 99%.
Got the number for you, Jeff. The median American full-time worker is pulling in right around $64,200 a year per the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So yeah, $1 billion is roughly 15,000 lifetimes of work for the average person, which kind of settles the did you win capitalism debate pretty quickly.
Okay, so if the average in the U.S. at least, or the household income is $64,000, right? If someone were to come and say, "Hey, we're going to make a rule that you can't make more than $1 billion in a year," anything past that, you just can't have it. It goes back in, or it's heavily taxed, or whatever, or it's the max on a sports contract.
Sure,
it doesn't affect 99.9999999% of the people. So why not put that rule in there?
I mean, there are guys out there that I think make $64,000 a game
per pitch. I mean, look at somebody like Shohei, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we looked at this like last year. There was like, the different stats of like, hey, that at bat was worth like $100,000.
Right.
One at bat, like ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, it's either an at bat or per pitch thrown or per inning pitched or whatever. And Juan Soto's contract, even though it's for more years and the average annual value is not as high, the total amount of the contract is like $730 million.
Yeah. So who cares if
this guy doesn't even pitch; he just hits. Plays field. He's good. He's really good. But I mean,
so what are we? Not that we're arguing, but what are we arguing about? A cap for something that the vast majority of players may never hit?
I think.
Or does it sound like the NBA, where every team has like a max player, and then that's it?
I think they're arguing the fact that they want a cap for the team. You've got so much money, kind of like how football works. You only have so much money to work with every year. You have to build your 26-man roster with however hundreds of millions of dollars, and every team has that amount to spend. So, like the Dodgers, I don't know what their annual payroll is. It's got to be close to $300-400 million. There are other teams out there that operate at less than $100 million. Because they're not willing to go that high. Can they all go that high? I think there are teams that are out there that can go a heck of a lot higher than they do. I don't know if they can all get to where the Dodgers are at, but I think some of the owners are saying, and I know a lot of the fans are saying, they're saying it because they're fans of these teams that don't spend money. I mean, fans, at the end of the day, it's not their money, so who gives a shit? But the owners that can't spend it are saying, hey, we can't give Shohei $70 million a year.
Yeah.
We can't give Juan Soto a $730 million contract over 15 years. We can't do that. So, and there are other teams that are saying, you know what? We're not going to do it. I mean, there are teams out there that don't pay for players that, are expensive and things like that, but they just develop teams better. Like the Tampa Bay Rays are in first place in their division. They don't have a payroll near.
Yeah, they got, if this list is to be believed, $88.7 million, which is the was that fifth lowest salary.
Yeah, well,
the White Sox are at $82 million.
I was going to say, where are the White Sox at? They're at $82 million.
Third from the bottom.
Granted, it's because they have a lot of young guys. I think they've had 13 or 14 rookies make their debuts this year. And they're sitting right now, I believe, at 59 and 52, at least 3 games ahead of Cleveland in their division. White Sox have had an amazing year. And everybody's waiting. Okay, when is it going to happen? When is the losing streak going to happen? And, people thought when they got swept by Boston at home a couple weeks ago, here it comes. We've had our fun, and now
the law of averages kicks in.
Yeah, the reality set in. We got to play the Yankees. We just split with the Yankees. They just won 2 out of 3 in Tampa Bay. They just refuse to go away, and I think they're 7 games above 500 right now, which is the highest they've been. And I know their 3-game lead is the biggest lead that they've had. Now, they, I think, start a series with Cleveland, I think, tomorrow. So that'll be interesting to see if they can distance themselves even more or not. They did make some moves at the deadline today. They got, they traded for a starting pitcher yesterday. They got a reliever this morning. They traded for a catcher this afternoon, and they traded for a Gold Glove outfielder this afternoon. So they filled every need that they had. Maybe not with the guys that the fans wanted, but I think that definitely got better. I think they're just looking for ancillary pieces to kind of fill in the gaps and keep their rookies playing and keep their guys, rolling.
Are they making basically a run for the playoffs? And again, just kind of, hey, let's make the playoffs and see what happens.
Exactly. Nobody expected them to be here.
Right.
Not this quickly.
Not even you, Mr. White Sox himself.
No, I didn't. I mean, they are the surprise story of baseball, and a good one. It's a great story. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan, but they are fun to watch. There are still holes. There's still room for improvement. They're still building, but It's been a lot of fun for them to watch. And luckily, they play in a very competitive but not great division. So all the teams are kind of evenly matched, which is why they're kind of, it's like the Sox are up 3 games. I think the Twins are 4 games back. The Tigers aren't far behind them. And then you got the Royals down at the bottom. But, Guardians, Twins, Tigers, and White Sox are all pretty close, I think.
Well, the Cleveland Guardians are the lowest opening day payroll at $62.3 million.
There you go. And they're competing for the division.
Meanwhile, you've got the Mets, who had the highest opening day payroll, $352.2 million. So almost 6 times higher than what Cleveland is spending on a roster.
Well, they have Juan Soto on that team. That's part.
Yeah, but we've said this before. At least I've said it. Like just because you have a high payroll and highly paid players doesn't mean you automatically win. But what it does do is give you better odds.
Yes. Yeah, it increases your chances. It increases the likelihood of you having success. I mean, you said Cleveland has a $62 million payroll for 26 guys. If you add in the deferred money, Shohei makes $70 million by himself. Now, Granted, the pitcher and a hitter, but granted, he's not pitching right now because he's got some injury he's dealing with. But he does fill 2 positions, but he does not fill 26 spots on a roster. So, it's all in how you want to spend your money.
So what is the answer? Fix it, Jay. Fix baseball.
I think.
What would you do? You're the commissioner, and you've got to solve this. Go.
I think a salary cap probably has to happen. The thing with strikes and the thing with lockouts is at the end of the day, usually the owners win. The players eventually cave on a lot of stuff. Well,
the owners have really all the power, right?
Of course.
It's their product. It's their facility. It's their team. If they decide that they want to shut it down, and these owners are billionaires and millionaires, they can afford to.
Yeah, because most of these owners, baseball isn't their primary source of income. Right. They're not like the McCaskies where the Bears is their business. They've got a lot of them have outside interests. I'm not
But
saying,
even still, even if it was, there aren't enough of them that are in that position. Everyone else is loaded, and this is a hobby, a pastime.
Yeah, 100%. So I think eventually the owners win. I think some sort of salary cap comes into play. They tried this last time with what they called the luxury tax, which was, we're not going to put the salary cap in, but if you pass a certain threshold, you're going to have to pay extra money to the league or whatever in order to have that high of a payroll. Obviously, there are teams like the Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers that don't care about the luxury tax, and they know, like in Shohei's case, that if they sign a guy like Shohei, the revenue that they're going to generate by having him is going to more than outweigh whatever luxury tax that they'll have to pay. So they'll be on the plus side of that. I believe they've made just in Shohei Ohtani money alone, they've already made back his entire contract.
Well, look, any luxury tax or fine is really not a financial burden for people. It's like, okay, you get a speeding ticket. Okay, that $100 speeding ticket. Do you think it matters to somebody who is already making a bunch of money? No. It matters more for the poor that can't afford the $100 ticket. And so a luxury tax doesn't. Who cares? If you're already spending $352 million on your roster,
what's another?
Without the luxury tax being either scaled or a percentage of something, it doesn't matter. And the percentage has to have enough teeth to make it worthwhile for people to consider. And everything that I've seen, because the NBA had this as well, is like, who cares? Yeah, we'll spend the money.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just the cost of doing business for them.
Yeah, if you're gonna throw in a luxury tax, in order for it to really be effective, you got to make it stick. You got to make it. It's got to be a lot. And
I think there's a country that it's like Denmark or Sweden where if you get a speeding ticket, it's not a flat amount; it's a percentage of your income.
There you go.
And if you make $1 million and you get a speeding ticket, your fine is like $100,000 versus someone who makes far less, pays far less as well.
Do you think that's a good idea in that case?
Yeah, I think it does level the playing field a little bit because, if the thing is a fine, how many people are like, okay, well, I'll just pay the fine. Who cares? They're fortunate enough to be in a financial position where they don't care. It's really not a rule or a law. It's just a added fee to do what I want to do.
Hey, got to pay to play, man.
Yeah. But you've got some teams that just won't pay for it or can't. And just like you said, like there just aren't enough of those franchises where baseball is their business.
Right. No, there are some teams that are totally satisfied with having, 10, 12, 15,000 people a night, and their team goes out. People usually pay to see the team that's coming in. It's not so much they're paid to see their home team, and they're fine with that. You know, the good thing about, the Sox success is I know used to be the big joke around town was their attendance versus the Cubs. Sox are pulling in roughly 24,000 people a game, where a couple of years ago it was like 8.
Yeah.
But
well, you put a good product on the field, people show up.
Yeah, you put a winning team on the field and people will come. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
And that's how Chicago fans are. If you put a winning team on the field,
they'll support it.
I've been to 2 games, which is more games than I've been to in years. And I'll tell you what, it is awesome. It is a great experience. One game I saw, they won in like extra innings. The place was electric. The other game I saw, they lost. It was still a great time. Still really enjoyed it. I think the Sox only had 3 hits that night, but still had a blast. Park was filled. It was entertaining. Really cool place to see a game. So.
Yeah, well, they're the outlier, right? They're not spending a bunch of money. They're having success. And so, that is, adding, I think, obviously to the environment at the ballpark, right? When your team's doing well, even when you lose, but your team is still having a good year, it's like, oh, okay, well, we caught, the one. But if you were, last year's Sox, where they're not winning any game, or maybe the year before that were even worse, you go to a game and you're not going there expecting them to win.
Right.
You're going there for the ballpark environment, or because you're a corporate sponsor and you're taking clients, right? Or something like that. It's a totally different vibe when you've got a competitive team and you're actually there to cheer on the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And the game matters.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you put a cap in. Would you put a floor in?
Yes, I would. I think the floor, honestly, I think the floor is more important than the cap.
I think so too.
Because I think the owners have a responsibility, 1, to the fans, and 2, to the sport itself, to be competitive and put a competitive team on the field and make it so, it's worth coming to the games and it's worth paying attention to your team. And I just think it's for the integrity of the sport. You should make your team competitive.
Now, what about the argument that a team may end up overpaying players that aren't worth those salaries just to hit the floor?
I don't know how you prevent that, because, saying somebody is not worth a salary is kind of subjective.
Right.
That might be your opinion. It might not be mine, or, whoever's, or might, whatever. But I still think a floor gets things closer to being competitive across the board than no floor.
Now,
but again, there are teams like the Sox, the Guardians, that are proving me wrong. No floor needed.
No, but their odds would theoretically improve, maybe.
Yeah. In the White Sox case, they just happen to have a lot of young guys who are like in their first or second year that don't make a lot of money yet.
Mm-hmm.
And they just happen to be good.
Yeah.
Eventually all these guys are going to want to get paid.
Yeah.
And obviously the Sox aren't going to be able to pay them all.
So you put a salary cap for the team. You put a salary floor for the team.
Yeah.
What about player contracts, individuals? Is there a floor for an individual contract? Or do you let the team floor sort of dictate what the minimum amount is that you can pay a player?
I know there is a minimum already in baseball that you have to pay a player. I forget what it is. But as far as how a team wants to work within their budget, I think that's up to them. As long as they hit the minimum for a player that's in the the CBA. If you want to pay a guy, say the minimum is $500,000. If you want to pay that dude $500,000, pay him $500,000. If he signed a contract for $500,000, then that's what he is.
Should there be a max for an individual player contract?
Again, I think if you as a team are willing to work within the parameters of what the cap is and what the floor is, however you work within that, I think it's up to you.
So let's say the cap is $100 for easy math. I sign Shohei Ohtani for $99.76. And I fill the rest of my team with anybody who's willing to sign for a contract for 1 penny. Is that good for baseball?
No, because you've probably built a very bad team.
Yes. But do I care? I've got Shohei, and I'm going to make the money on, I don't care about actually being competitive. I'm going to make it off of, endorsements and deals and other sources of revenue.
True. But remember, in the current situation, there is a minimum contract that you have to pay somebody.
Okay.
There already is.
But the minimum doesn't strike me as enough to counter the maximum. I guess I'm seeing okay, you've got Shohei making, however many millions or billions he's making. What is the minimum, or what is the league minimum contract for an MLB player? And I'll ask FOJ AI to look that up while we're talking here, and I'll stop talking when I seem about to talk. But
Jeff, the MLB minimum in 2025 is $760,000, which sounds like a lot until you stack it against Shohei pulling $70 million in base salary alone. That gap is almost 100 to 1, so your penny contract theory is basically just MLB arithmetic with extra steps.
Okay, $760,000 is the league a year ago, 2 years ago, I guess at this point, depending on whatever this data was pulled from. Nowhere near enough for 162 games compared to someone like Shohei who's making $70 million. Now, these are bums, right? They're not very good. Let's say you sign, a team full of those minimum contracts, and then you round out the rest of your team with a Shohei type that takes up the rest of your budget.
Again, I mean, not every minimum salary guy is going to be good, but not every minimum salary guy is going to be bad, because you want them to be good because they're eventually going to want to make more money, right? So the incentive for those guys is to play well and get out of those contracts. And when, rookie contracts are done, which I don't know how many years rookie baseball contracts are, but once you get out of that and become eligible for 1, arbitration, and then 2, eligible for free agency, that's when you make the real money, right?
So really, you're making money, and you're gaining the benefits of cheap labor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now, if you're drafted, well, I shouldn't say if you're drafted. Most of these guys are drafted. If you're drafted high, yeah, you might make a $70,000 or $780,000 salary. But for instance, the guy who just got drafted by the Sox, number 1 pick, got an $11 million signing bonus. So whenever he makes the majors, which could possibly be as early as next year, and he signs a major league deal, he's already got a signing bonus of $11 million in the bank. So his $780,000, yeah, cool. That puts me at almost $12 million. Great.
Yeah. Well, but I think
it's all relative.
I think we have to include signing bonuses, right? Total compensation, right, is part of this, because that's just another accounting trick to get around. People use it now, right, for NFL, for example, for salary caps and cap hit numbers and, all that kind of stuff. I'm just thinking from a very simple, what is the contract? What is the player worth on an annual basis? Base salary plus whatever team incentives you give, right? I think outside of that, it becomes hard to calculate with endorsements and shoe deals, right? All the other stuff. But what is the team prepared to pay, regardless of whatever they want to call it, whether it's a base salary, a signing bonus, a deferred contract, whatever that all is? It all needs to be counted as part of this. There should be no accounting loopholes for people to take advantage of, because that's what the Dodgers are doing right now.
Well, right. That's, deferred contracts. And it's not just the Dodgers. Everybody thinks the Dodgers.
They were just the trendsetter.
Yeah, they are. And they're the most, they've done it the most.
Yeah.
But other teams,
is there a little bit of benefit for them because they were maybe the first mover advantage of like, hey, we've got this creative accounting. Let's go and collect all the great players and get as many, deferred contracts as we can before someone else wises up and does the same thing.
Well, sure. I mean, they were ahead of the trend, right? They were ahead of ahead of the game, and they're part of, like I said, they're part of the reason why, it's going to come to a halt here in probably at the end of this year.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they'll vote against it because they want to keep doing what they're doing.
Well, of course.
But if, the other teams, I'm not, whatever the majority is to pass something in the MLB, I don't know. But, I don't know if it's a straight majority or if it has to reach a certain threshold. But
yeah, I think it's 75%. I could be wrong on that, but I know there has to be a pretty sizable majority to put something in place, a regulation of some sort. But it's going to be interesting, man. But yeah, I think there does need to be some sort of cap. I think the floor is more important to kind of even out more teams, I think. The thing is that baseball has that football doesn't, and basketball doesn't, is minor leagues.
Mm-hmm.
How do those guys get paid? I know they don't make a lot of money when they're minors. When they get called up, then they make the money. How would that, guys who get called up in the middle of the year, how does that count against the cap? I know hockey has this issue too, and I don't know how it's managed, but like when does their cap hit? Say you get called up in August. You then sign your major league deal. When does that cap hit get you? Is it this year? Is it next year? What if you get called up in August and then you start next season with the major league team, but you get sent down? Are you suddenly not paid as much? I'm not sure how that works.
I think that would be interesting if you're paid a certain amount and you end up not being worth that amount, that there is a way to adjust that salary. Could be very interesting. Dynamic pricing, so to speak. Now, obviously, there's going to be things like injuries or whatever that probably need some protections around. But, if you're a very healthy Montez Sweat and you're getting paid a bunch of money and you're, only getting 10 sacks a season, is it worth it? Because you're tying up money that could be potentially used elsewhere to make the team better.
Well, yeah, because what could enter the fray that football has that could enter into baseball is a cap casualty.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, if a guy is making a lot of money and then suddenly is not performing, in baseball, you could only send a guy down to the minors so many times. And then they have what's called the runs out of options, where you either have to keep him or you got to release him. And I think if you had a cap in play, and generally it's probably going to happen to older players, but yeah, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got a guy who's not performing and you just be like, hey, we're paying this dude $10 million a year, he's simply not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Within the cap. Right now, the $10 million doesn't matter because we pay, it matters, but economics wise, as far as payroll and stuff like that, it really doesn't matter. But if you put a cap situation in, then it definitely matters. So yeah, there's a lot to think about here. A lot more than probably people realize.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we can borrow something from the world of soccer with relegation. And, if a team is not very good, they get sent down to the minors. The Rockies a couple of years ago, right? Sorry, you were the worst team in the league. You bring up, what's the next one? AAA? Would that be the next one?
Yeah.
Whatever the best AAA team was, congratulations. You just got promoted.
Yeah, that'd be tough. Hell, that could have been the White Sox 2 years ago. But the problem is all minor league teams are affiliated with major. So, I don't know if all soccer teams are affiliated with, because I think the European soccer leagues are tiered.
They are tiered, but it has, I think the idea is fascinating.
Oh yeah,
to see how it works, because it's a big deal to get relegated or to get promoted in the soccer world.
For sure.
And it does keep the upper leagues with very competitive teams.
Yeah, and
for the most part, like the top 6 or 7, right?
Yeah, some of those soccer players make a lot of money.
Oh yeah, they make ridiculous money.
Yeah.
Again. But they're also part of a product that is the world number one sport.
Yes.
And the top leagues are attracting the best players and the most investment. And if those investments aren't paying off, there are repercussions for that.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. Speaking of which, the new Polish guy for, I forget his name, was it Lewandowski?
Lewandowski, yeah.
He had 2 goals in his first game.
There we go.
So, hey, Chicago sports reignited all over.
Yeah, everywhere. Next thing you know, we're going to see Patrick Kane scoring goals. And let's see, Derrick Rose is on the cover of NBA 2K7. I mean, it's all coming up roses, for Chicagoland.
That's right. I know. There's a rumor out there that he might join the Bulls as an assistant coach, which would be interesting.
I'd like to see him back with the Bulls organization in some capacity.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of like what Pippen is like an ambassador. I don't know if he's still doing it or not, but for a few years, Pippen was there as kind of like, an ambassador type role.
Yeah, Rose will always be what could have been.
Yeah, but he's still beloved in Chicago.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, my God. His jersey retirement last year, they talked about it for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Although, most likely, and as of right now, he's the only non-active league MVP not in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think he makes it.
No, I don't think so either. Which is unfortunate because he had a really good career, and actually he played a lot longer than I thought he would have based on the injuries. But yeah, it's just after the knee thing, he just wasn't the same.
Yeah. Yeah. What could have been is a perfect way to put it.
Yeah. But boy, was he fun to watch when he was good.
Oh, yeah. Those years, when he was kind of single-handedly carrying the Bulls along was pretty awesome.
Hey, his MVP season was unbelievable.
Yeah. I did something this last weekend, would have been August 1st, that I have not done, I think, since the last time you and I did it.
Oh, wow.
Not just you and I, but there was a group of us, but I have not done it in 30 years, roughly, almost 25 to 30 years.
I'm going to take a shot here.
Okay.
And I don't know why this came up, but I'm going to guess you played a round of golf.
No.
Oh, okay.
I have not played a round of golf. I stick to Top Golf these days.
Okay. That's fair.
But you're kind of along the right lines, and it has to do with the topic we've been discussing for the last 45 minutes.
So it is a sport.
It is.
Baseball?
Yeah.
Oh boy. So you went to a baseball game?
I did.
Really? Who'd you go see?
I went and saw the Asheville Tourists Saturday night.
Okay.
So I went to a minor league baseball game for the first time since the Kane County Cougars.
Wow.
Which I'm pretty sure you were at. I mean, I feel like there's a few of us went out there. We ran the bases. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So the Asheville Tourists. Okay. What level of baseball is this?
So they are high A, I think is the term.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Sure.
I went to.
Team?
What's that?
For what team?
I think they're part of the Houston Astros organization.
Okay, and who did they play? Do you remember?
They played Greenville, which is part of the Boston organization. Because the guy I was with, who was in town, he's a Houston fan. He's like, hey, do you want to go to the game? I'm like, you know what? I've never been to the Asheville Tourists. And yeah,
how was it?
Let's go. It was good. It was warm. So that was kind of weird. Not weird. It was, a little slightly uncomfortable, but not too bad. We sat, let's see, 3 or 4 rows back from the third base line, right around the third base area.
Yeah.
Look, it's a small park.
Yeah.
I think we played in bigger parks when we did the Chili softball tournament. But it was fun. It was good. The area that we're in seemed to be like a whole bunch of regulars that knew the players, knew each other. We're getting a bunch of like handouts with, balls being, passed through the netting, and the kids in our area like going out and running the bases and doing all the shenanigans right in between, innings. But it was fine. It was a $20 ticket to go. It was jersey night, so I got a jersey to bring home. They did not have my size by the time I got there. So my wife is now the proud owner of a Asheville Tourists jersey. But it was a fine experience. I paid $20 for a hot dog, fries, and a Coke. So, relatively reasonable between, tickets and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Those.
Oh, and they lost big time. It was like 11-3. They got like 3 hits to like 19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Those games in those areas in smaller towns like that, if you are a diehard baseball fan, they're a lot of fun, and people just connect with, because a lot of those players like are from out of town. They're not from Asheville, right? So a lot of those players actually live with families in town. Like they live with host families, right? So there's like a special connection with the community that these players have. And the only reason I know that is because one year my oldest son, he played in a college summer league in Nebraska, in this little town called Hastings, Nebraska, in the middle of freaking nowhere, where it's like 100 degrees every day in the summertime. But we went there for a weekend, and it was like it was weird because everybody knew my kid's name. Everybody knew his stats, all this stuff. And I'm not trying to take away from your story. But
but you're hitting everything. Like,
yeah, I just remembered that experience, and little kids, going up to the players and grabbing autographs and getting baseballs. And I mean, because to those little kids, these guys could be major leaguers to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, look, everyone was having a good time. It's obviously a very family friendly sort of environment. I mean, small. I mean, I don't know how many people can fit in Home Trust Park, which that was a whole thing of like, now our minor league baseball team has like corporate sponsor name after it being called whatever it was. So people are not happy about that, but they've also got weird dimensions for the field.
Okay.
So they have a very short right field, but with a big wall.
Remember?
What's that?
You remember how short it was?
I want to say it was like 360 or something like that.
Okay.
Which I guess not short, but if you ever look at like the dimensions of the field, it's very clear that right field is much further in than the rest of it. And to make up for it, they have a giant wall.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of like, I don't want to say the big green, the green monster, but similar sort of concept.
Yeah, I got.
But it's also, look, it's a baseball stadium in the middle of the mountains, and the land is what the land is, and it is what it is.
Oh, well, that's awesome, man. It sounds like a great time.
Yeah. Oh, 297.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And a 36-foot high wall.
Yeah, you need a 36-foot high wall with a 297.
Well, I can tell you, one guy hit one off that wall, and there's a big target sign there that, if you hit this, everybody wins is what it says. And apparently there's some sort of like, somebody wins something. Not clear what it was, because there's no signage anywhere that says, okay, hit this, and all it just says is hit the target and everybody wins. And so there was no like, well, what do they win? But this guy, I guess they don't have instant replay in a small park like that, I guess, but came awful close to hitting the bullseye.
That's cool.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was good. It was like a 3-hour game because, they could not get out of the first and second inning. I think they gave up 5 in the first and then like 4 in the second. And they made a pitching change into the third. And things kind of settled down from there. But yeah, the Tourists never got the offense going. I think they had bases loaded like twice and couldn't score. So all kinds of stuff going on. But yeah, it was interesting.
That's cool. Now, the big question is, will you go back?
Yeah, I would go back. I wouldn't call myself a fan, but I thought, the environment was fine. I would definitely not go when it's hot and humid like it was Saturday.
Sure.
But I would go. Look, I've never been, the last time I've been to that was literally the Kane County Cougars, and it's a much different experience. I think it's more fun. It feels more pure as well.
Oh yeah.
You can't see shit from the third baseline. I'll tell you that right now. You have no idea if it's a ball or a strike until you figure out what's going on. But it was a good experience, I would say. I would not sit where I sat last time though, because it's kind of hard to see kind of everything. And plus also we were very much like, who are these? Like there are some strange characters around us. One guy had like baseball cards and like a tote bag, and we were sitting next to the dugout kind of area, and he just takes his tote bag out, starts going through his tote bag, pulling out all kinds of stuff. He had a beer koozie wallet, which I was like, oh, okay, that's never seen that one before. So definitely some characters at this park, but yeah, I would go back.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, you want to talk characters? So my weekend, really yesterday. So 30 years ago, let's go back. 30 years ago, 1996, summertime, just outside of Rockford, Winnebago County in Pecatonica, Illinois. You, myself, Chad, and Mr. Cruz all trekked out there for Lollapalooza. Do you remember?
Absolutely, because you know what happened in the car on the, was it the way there or the way, it was on the way there, right?
It was on the way there. We were stuck in traffic. I believe we had stopped for McDonald's, and totally my fault. I made a very bad decision. I totally anti what I am today, but I chucked my garbage out the window and damn near hit a motorcycle cop right in the face. I just missed it because I didn't know he was coming out of the backseat.
And that's why you are the FOJ listener of the week.
Well,
for almost hitting a cop with your garbage.
Yes, I could also be the dumbass of the week.
Yep, you're both.
Double duty on
that.
Yeah,
you can be both. They're not exclusive.
Yeah, so I do remember that. God, that was funny and scary at the same time. I had no idea what was going to happen to me, and for those 5 seconds where he just looked at me, I was like, "Oh my God, what's going to happen?" Luckily, just for those listening, all I had to do was go out there, pick up the garbage, put it back in our car, and then we were on our way.
Yeah, so I don't think he wanted to deal with it either. He just like pick it up.
he did not. That was very stupid of me back then. I was a dumb 22-year-old back then. But anyway,
so that was 1996, right?
Yes. Yeah. My question for you: there were 6 bands on the main stage that day. Can you name them?
There were more than 6, but
no, there were 9 at the festival. There were 6 at the main stage and 3 on the side stage. That was it. I looked it up.
So Metallica, for sure, because they were the closers.
Yes.
Was it Soundgarden was there too?
Yes.
Rancid, the Ramones.
Yes.
Those are the only ones. Was Green Day there?
Green Day was not there.
I don't know who else was on there because I'm trying to think of other.
Do you remember the band Screaming Trees?
Oh yeah, they had one song.
Yeah,
and they still have one song.
Yeah, and then I don't know if we got there in time to see these guys, but there was a group called Pecatonica.
I don't remember them at all.
Yeah, I don't remember them either. And on the second stage, I don't think we even went to the second stage that day.
We did, because that was the water bottles flying through the air.
Okay. Well, the second stage had the Shaolin Monks, Ben Folds 5, and Cheap Trick. And the only reason Cheap Trick was there is because they're from Rockford.
Okay. I'm going to look this up while we're talking here then. So 96, huh?
96. So throughout that tour, there were 41 different acts because back then Lollapalooza toured all around the country.
Mm-hmm.
It has now turned into a 4-day festival here in Chicago. It's the only place it is. They do some international Lollapaloozas, but it's the only one in the United States. And there were 172 different acts associated with this 4-day extravaganza, 8 different stages throughout Grant Park. Roughly 500,000 people passed through Lollapalooza. And 2 of those people yesterday were me and my wife.
I want to talk about that because you sent me the text and some pictures and stuff like that. But you forgot Rage Against the Machine.
They didn't play in Rockford, but they were part of that tour at some point.
311 was there. I'm pretty sure we saw them. The Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, they made some appearances as well. So
and
there's
Violent Femmes.
Yeah, there were some others that were on the tour at some point.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so I remember. I think we saw Sponge and Soul Coughing on the side stage.
Bull coughing. Wow.
Because they would have been like early in the day, and there wasn't enough water. It was a very poorly run event. Like the water and the bathroom situation was not ideal, but I just remember looking up at the side stage at one point and just, thousands of empty water bottles just literally flying through the air. I think it started like in a small area, and then it literally became everybody was just throwing their empty water bottles, up in the air and all around the group. Water was at a premium that day, and so I think there was a little mini revolt because I think they ran out of water or something.
It was, if I recall, it was hot as hell.
Oh yeah, it was very hot.
So
tell me about Lollapalooza, because I actually enjoy Lollapalooza typically because they stream it.
Yes.
And so you've been able to watch on YouTube over a variety of different live channels like for the last few years now. And last year's was great.
Yeah. Michelle and I watched a little Smashing Pumpkins Friday night live.
That's cool.
And they were good. Now, I can tell you of the 172 acts throughout the weekend at Lollapalooza, I think I've heard of 3 of them. Those 3 being Smashing Pumpkins. I don't know if you've heard of Tate McRae. She's like a pop star. And then Chainsmokers. So we went there yesterday. So a little backstory. My company, Cisco, did donated some of the refrigeration trailers and things like that. We did a lot of the food for a lot of the vendors, things like that. So they asked for volunteers to just kind of help watch the trailers, make sure they were staying cold and things like that, and kind of monitor people going in and out, making sure that the door stayed shut and all that kind of thing. And plus I had a customer there, so I was kind of hanging with them and things like that. So they were looking for volunteers. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. I posted to Michelle. She said, yeah, let's go. I said, okay, we'll go.
Mm-hmm.
So we went, got there. Gates opened at 11. We got there at 10. So, and we had staff credentials, so I didn't pay for anything. And basically we could have gone anywhere general admission tickets could go. So basically it was like a free ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Totally worth it. I would not go for 4 days. 4 days is a lot.
It is.
I don't think my body could handle it. I don't think my mind could handle it. But for 1 day, it was pretty cool. There were people everywhere, Jeff. Oh my God. I don't think I've ever been a part of that mass of people at any point at any event that I've ever been to. Just it was unbelievable, but it didn't feel crowded, if that makes any sense. It was spread out enough to where you never got trampled, you never really got bumped into all that much. Did a lot of walking. I think I looked at my watch at the end of the day. I think I put in like 18,000 steps or some shit like that, which I normally barely do half that. The music we saw a lot of, for some reason, we gravitated towards the EDM acts, which is something I normally don't do. But we saw a guy by the name of Zach. Oh, what the hell? It was like Zach Maestro or Ministro, whatever the hell. I don't know.
Let me look at my text because Eli Brown.
Eli Brown, we saw him in the afternoon. That guy was pumping. I mean, the sound system at these things is unbelievable, obviously. I mean, we're standing probably a good 150 yards from stage, and I felt every bass beat in every bone of my body. It was that deep. It's almost like the music forced you to move, if you know what I mean. I'm not a dancer. I've never been a dancer. I never will be a dancer. But you get the head bob moving, and you're into it. And I was into it. Michelle was into it. It was cool. Then my 52-year-old ears caught up with me, and I'm like, okay, wait, I need something else. So we didn't watch his whole thing, but he was good. Caught a band called Snack Time. They're from Louisiana. Rockish, really good. Caught another band called the Bends. I think they were also from Louisiana. Again, kind of rock alternative, really good. On one of the side stages where there were probably, 200 people into that show. But I'll tell you what, those 200 people were into it. And yeah, again, it was cool. And then, I was walking back and forth to where the food tent was and making sure my customer was cool. The only show we really wanted to see, because we both heard of them and we both know some of the songs, was Chainsmokers.
Yeah.
And
They got some good stuff.
Yeah, they closed one of the stages. They were like the co-headliner with last night with Tate McRae.
Mm-hmm.
Tate McRae more of the pop stuff. Chainsmokers was more of the DJ type stuff. And I'll tell you what, the crowd there was unbelievable. But again, totally into it. Music was good. It was loud. I mean, you could feel it, but the vibe there was awesome. It was a lot of people there, but again, it didn't feel crowded. You know what I mean? Like people
I think
were
that's part of the reason like they picked that spot was it has the space for it.
Yeah, for sure. Really cool experience. But Michelle and I were probably in the top 2% as far as age goes at this thing. We did see a couple, people random here and there that were probably our age roughly, but I'll bet the average age was 18 to, 24.
Yeah. I think a lot of conferences like that tend to skew younger. Yeah. But look, sometimes you need to bring your parents to the conference, to the concert too. And that's you.
I'll tell you what, there was a couple of people, we saw a girl walk around with her dad, a couple of girls walking around with one of their moms, that kind of thing. And I thought, that's cool because a lot of teenagers wouldn't want that. But we did see a little bit of that. Saw a lot of interesting folks. The people watching was all time, as I told you.
Yeah.
I saw the Eagle Man, some dude running around with jeans and just this big feathered deal that he was walking around in. Saw a couple people with furry tails. Saw guys in skirts. All walks of life.
Mm-hmm. And everyone's having a good time.
Everybody had a great time. You could tell that people were really enjoying themselves, except one. So before Chainsmokers, Michelle and I were like, okay, we need to sit out because we're old. There obviously is no place to sit except like on a curb. So we found this curb, little space. We sat down. We're just kind of hanging out, chilling. All of a sudden, the girl next to me, probably, 19, 20, sitting maybe a foot to my left. She leans over to me out of nowhere and she says, "Hey, I'm just forewarning you. I got a migraine going right now and I feel like I'm going to throw up." I'm like, okay. And I looked at her and I'm like, okay, I appreciate the warning. So she's just kind of sitting there and I'm like, okay, maybe she's just hot, but maybe overreaction, whatever. All of a sudden, she like dips down between her knees. And I'm like, okay. And she's got a friend on the other side of her. And I said to the friend, I'm like, is she going to be okay? And she's like, you know what? She's had a migraine for the past couple hours, trying to get rid of it, drinking water, all that kind of stuff, hopefully she's going to be all right. I'm like, okay. Because my main concern, obviously the dad in me kicks in and, hey, you'll be okay if you need help, that kind of thing.
You shifted into on-duty status.
I did, just to make sure. And she's like, you know what? She should be okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right. If you need anything, let us know, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, she just let it fly right onto the ground. Now, luckily, it was mostly water. Mm-hmm. And, it's not like it splashed me or anything like that, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay. I turned to Michelle. I'm like, you know what? We should probably move. And then she let loose on what wasn't water. And again, luckily didn't splash me or nothing. I'm like, okay, we need to move. So we move over to another spot further along the curb. Now, mind you, people are, obviously walking up and down the curb and, trying to cross, all that kind of stuff. And we're trying not to get trampled because that's the one place you could get trampled. We sit next to, again, this girl who broke her foot. So she's walking around in a plastic boot, poor thing, by herself. I don't know where her friends were, if she had friends there. I don't know. So we felt bad. She's getting, people are kind of bumping into her, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, and she was probably, again, 20, 21, whatever. Once again, the parents in us kick in. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stand on one side of you. Michelle, you stand on the other side. We're going to guard this person. So because she kept getting bumped into. She can't move. All this kind of stuff. So we, probably guarding her for like 10, 15 minutes. And then she finally got up, was like, hey, my friend just called me. I'm going to go meet her. I'm like, all right, fine. So she left. Finally, we were on our own. We walked a few feet to where, the band was starting. And obviously when a band like that, very popular, people just kind of start running towards the stage, that kind of thing. And its crowd is all heck. So we remain on the outskirts, which I'm glad we did. And then finally made our way over to right in front of this like lemonade stand. And we just kind of leaned up against it. It was perfect because you could see what was going on. But again, you didn't feel like you were bumping into anybody. I told the girl that was kind of working the stand, I'm like, do you mind if I lean up against this thing? She's like, no, not at all. I'm like, great. So I was up against that. We watched, I think they played for hour and 15 minutes. We hung in there for about 45 minutes. And finally, I'm like, okay, I got to go get my work bags. I still brought my stuff for work back at the food tent. I'm like, we have to beat this crowd out of here because there's no way we're going to be able to keep up with the mad scramble to get out of here. That's when we're really going to have a problem. So we left, got out of there, got in the car, and somehow, some way, Jeff, I don't believe it, we got out of Chicago, out of Lollapalooza, and in my house in under an hour.
That's like a record.
Which may have been the highlight of the night.
Yeah, what was better, actually, enjoying the concert or the ride home?
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, man, for that lifestyle, we saw all walks of life. We saw it all, but you could tell everybody was enjoying the hell out of the day. It was a blast. It started off cloudy and in the mid 70s. The sun finally came out around 4:00 and it got a little warmer, but all in all, not bad.
Yeah, you had a bunch of rain and stuff, right?
There was a bunch of rain on Saturday to where they actually canceled everything from 11 to 3. They didn't open the park until 3:00 because there was so much rain and so much water and all that, which water turned into mud. So there was mud everywhere. Luckily, the city, they couldn't cover it all, but they covered a lot of it with a bunch of mulch. So that helped. But just a really cool atmosphere. Obviously, there was a ton of food available, although the food was fucking expensive, dude.
Well, food's expensive everywhere right now.
My customer was selling chicken sandwiches on their own for $15.
Yep.
A basket of 3 chicken tenders and fries was $20. And just a basket of fries on its own was $7. But there were some things that we saw that were like $30, $40. I think bottles of water were like $8.
Mm-hmm.
Beers were like $17. So yeah, if you were a regular concert goer, you were probably going to spend $400 or $500.
Yeah,
on whatever it was.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. So I did some research on it, and apparently Lollapalooza. So I guess they have a deal with Grant Park to where the event is guaranteed to be there up through 2032.
Yeah, it's a long-term contract they have.
Yeah, that's when the contract ends. Whether they renew it or not, who knows? But apparently, the 4 days of Lollapalooza generate roughly $480 million. It pumps $480 million into the Chicago economy in those 4 days. It costs them $10 million to rent Grant Park for those 4 days. And Lollapalooza, the event, spends over $1 million once everybody's gone to repair essentially Grant Park. Like they replant the grass, all the cleanup, all that stuff. But it was pretty cool. It was,
and it's worth it for the city.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it. It's worth it on both ends. I mean, it provides a great environment. It's right off the lake. I'll tell you what, for as big an event as I saw, there's very little police presence because it wasn't needed. It was maybe needed along the outside, but once you got inside.
Well, that was the police you could see.
Yeah,
There's a
well,
lot of
true.
undercover stuff that goes on and stuff like that.
Probably, but
Yeah.
I didn't see one fight.
Well, look, this is I think, what it's actually like out there. It's people for the most part getting along, enjoying music and just doing their thing.
I was telling my dad that we were going to this, and I said, you know what, this was probably the closest thing to like Woodstock that, I would ever experience. And yeah, I told my customer, I said, if you guys are here next year and I still have you guys, I'll be back. I would go again. Yeah. Absolutely.
Have they announced next year's acts yet?
I don't
think they have yet.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll tell you what, man, Chainsmokers, solid.
Yeah, well, it surprises me that you kind of sought out the EDM stuff.
Was
it just that was kind of like what the I guess the theme was? Because I remember a couple of years it was like Offspring and Limp Bizkit and like a bunch of 90s, new metal and stuff like that I absolutely enjoyed. I loved it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that a lot of it I think was timing, just based on what was playing when we were able to get away from my customer and my responsibilities and stuff. We were the closest to that stage, so that helped. And we just got there and, liked what we were hearing and was like, yeah, this is cool. I mean, excuse me. We eventually walked to all the stages and saw every stage and everything, but that seemed to where we glammed onto for whatever reason. And yeah, it was cool. I mean, the first act of the day, I think the guy's name is Zach Martino, now that I think about it. There were maybe, I don't know, 150 people there. I mean, it was early, so a lot of people don't get there that early, but you could walk right up to, the front row of the stage and hear him. And it was loud. But I mean, to be that close, some people stand up there, to wait all freaking day for whoever's playing that night. But I couldn't do that. Like there's no way I would go to an event like that and do that kind of thing unless Metallica was playing. I would totally do that.
You'd wear a diaper for Metallica.
Yeah, right. Hey, they played. I think it was 4 years ago. They closed Lollapalooza in Chicago. But no, great experience. Great experience.
Did you see the XX?
I didn't. I heard that they were there, obviously from being there.
Yeah, they were like the main headliner.
They were one of the headliners, I think. So I don't know what kind of music they play.
They're like rock, sort of indie rock type stuff, but they're good. I think you would have liked them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check them out.
Yeah, they have a couple songs you've probably heard before.
The XX. Yeah. Okay, yeah, check that out. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, there were many times I felt pretty old, but I was pretty sore by the end of the day. My feet hurt a lot. My head was ringing this morning. I probably had a contact high from all the marijuana I ingested, but
Well, I did try to encourage you to get in the mosh pit. I'm looking over our text chain.
I did not see a mosh pit.
That's why I said you got to show those kids what's up.
Well, I would have needed Chad and your brother for that one.
Yeah. My mosh days are over. Once was enough for me. My
mosh days never started. I was never a part of a mosh pit. Ever.
It's never too late to start.
For me, it is.
Hey, man, look, the world famous baseball player Jason McGuigan can mosh if he wants to.
I am batting 1,000.
Yeah, you got the tank already. Just start swinging those arms and walking around in a circle.
Yeah, well, luckily I haven't been needed since. So I know our team won 2 games yesterday. Obviously, I wasn't there, but my son pitched 6 scoreless innings.
All right.
To finish off game 1, and we enter the last game of the regular season at 16-1 next Sunday against a team that is 15-2.
That's going to be a high stakes game.
That 15-2 team is responsible for our only loss. So yeah, it should be a good one.
Revenge.
Yeah, revenge tour. Absolutely.
Well, if he's that good of a pitcher, I could tell you the Asheville Tourists could have used him Saturday night. They would not have dug themselves into like a 9-0 hole after the first 2 innings.
Yeah. No, apparently he pitched really well. So yeah, I did have an eye on Game Changer during the concert. So because I can't get away.
Yeah,
I just can't.
Of course.
So, but yeah, Lollapalooza, thumbs up, man. It was a great time.
That's good. I had another major event happen.
Okay.
This last week. I am now the proud owner of a brand new Rivian R2.
Really?
Yeah. So I think we talked about it last time. I was like 4 to 8 weeks away.
Yes.
I got the email to make my order. Would have been a week and a half ago.
Okay.
On my flight to New York City, basically. Like I got the text as my wife is dropping me off at the airport, and I'm yelling at her through the thing. I just got the text to make the order. She's like, "What?" And so I ordered my vehicle from the Asheville airport.
Oh wow!
And a week later, I was in Duncan, South Carolina, picking it up.
Oh,
and
so
I drove it. I have it. I drove it back this last Thursday, like a couple days ago, Thursday.
Man.
And I just dropped it off this morning to get it, to get the front wrapped with PPF and to get the windows tinted. And I'll pick it back up again Wednesday.
Look at you.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, man, this thing is awesome.
I was going to say, so is it everything you hoped it would be?
Absolutely. I did something, Jason, that Thursday that I haven't done in the last time I did this was a complete failure. And that was, I drove home from a dealer with a new car and it worked the entire way home. Which I cannot say the same of my Polestar 3.
Well, I'll be damned. Okay, so first off, and take all the Polestar's, deficiencies out of it. Polestar running at 100%, how does it compare?
It is unbelievably good.
Okay.
So I will tell you it's expensive. It was $60 roughly out the door with taxes and fees and all that stuff, which for a brand new nice EV is pretty reasonable these days. Again, considering that the average price of a car in the US right now is $50,000.
Yeah, that doesn't scare me.
Yeah.
Actually, that's less than what I thought you would say.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, I think they're going to sell a shit ton of these because this is a R2 Performance Launch Edition, which is the only thing they're making right now. 656 horsepower.
Oh, wow.
0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds.
Okay.
330-mile range. And it has, universal hands-free driving in it. And later this year, they should be rolling out like point-to-point driving, kind of like what Tesla calls autopilot.
Sure.
And this thing is fantastic. Like, I can't say a bad thing about it, except they are going to sell a shit ton of these because it is really, really good.
And you have number 2 on the way.
I have, number 2 is in the queue. So our other car right now is a Rivian R1S, which is the bigger version of the R2.
Right.
And I tell you, the R2 is just the perfect size. Like for me, right? It's just a little bit smaller. Don't need all that space that the R1, has. But yeah, we have a reservation in for when the lease is up on that one towards the end of this year. Theoretically order somewhere in October, November, and then swap out the R1S for another R2.
What color you got?
I got the Half Moon Gray.
Ooh, nice.
So it's kind of like kind of hard to describe. You kind of have to look online, but it's kind of like a darkish gray with a little bit of like, kind of like, I want to say like gold specks kind of in it. Like moon dust might be. Like that kind of idea.
Like I'm looking at you right now. You have a gray t-shirt on. Compare that. Okay.
Oh, it's definitely darker than this. Yeah, definitely darker than that.
So not quite a charcoal.
Yeah.
Gray.
Not that dark. Like I said, it's kind of hard to describe. You just kind of have to look it up online and kind of see what it is. But yeah, when I got the email, it was June 29th. I was like, all right, you're 4 to 8 weeks away from making your order. 3 weeks later, I got the invite, and a week later, I had my car. So absolutely the best possible scenarios all the way. And there's an interesting story behind this because the reason I got my car, so my VIN number is 1101. So it is a very early version of this. It was actually an employee's car or an order.
Really?
Yeah. So the reason I got it is because the employee who ordered it, unfortunately, was laid off from the South Carolina location that he was working at. So the car still got delivered to that location, but he moved to Florida and got rehired by a Rivian dealer or service center in Florida. So there's a happy ending for that one, right? Yes. Yeah, guy got laid off, but he actually ended up it just being a transfer to a Florida location. But they still shipped his vehicle to South Carolina. And then rather than just ship it again and pay for that, he just said, forget it. And I was the next one up in the queue to get Spencer's R2. And so there was a whole story, the guys at the service center where they're doing the delivery and stuff were like, yeah, this is like a deal where it's like, they'll never forget it, right? Because they all know this guy and kind of the story behind it. And it's such an early VIN to have, 1101, like, very early on, but it's fantastic, man. If you get the chance to like get it, like I said, they will sell a shit ton of these. And that I think it's $58K is like is the standard price right now because it has all these options in it. But it gets down to $45K next year when they put like the standard version out. Not as fast, but it has more range, which is pretty great.
Well, that's awesome, man. I know you have been through it.
Dude, it's been such a journey.
God, we've been talking about that Polestar for over a year.
Yeah, it took a year for me to go from I've had enough and I'm going to start the lemon law / attorney process. And a year later,
here we are.
I turned it in. And, to be fair, I got my money really fast back. I ended up, not spending barely anything to drive that car for like a year and a half, other than insurance and like $120 something for mileage. So, good on them. And I got out of the Polestar at the right time because Polestar has actually pulled out of the U.S. market since then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they were not granted an exception to continue selling because there was I don't think it was a law, but it was like a presidential order or something that was actually done during the Biden administration that any connected vehicles that went back to China, like the data, needed to be either authorized or whatever manufacturers had to, come up with a different way to do that. And so Polestar decided not to do anything about that and just decided to pull out of the U.S. market. And so that came out like maybe 2 weeks after I turned my car in that they were pulling out of the market. It's interesting. They absolutely could have done it because Volvo, which is this car, is also kind of, there's a Volvo equivalent because Volvo and Polestar are very shared. Volvos you can continue to buy. So Volvo went to the process of demonstrating how their software will not go to like Chinese servers and stuff like that. But Polestar decided not to, which I thought was really interesting. And so there's a lot of very unhappy Polestar customers right now because that tanks the resale value of all the Polestar vehicles in the U.S.
How do those people get service if they need it? Or
They'll figure they're still on the hook. They have to provide that because that's the law. But they'll probably do some sort of shared thing through Volvo, which is what they should have been doing the entire time. But they're technically a separate company. And so they're trying to do whatever. But yeah, like the resale value tanked. Like immediately, Polestar did a fire sale on all their inventory in the U.S. They dropped prices by like 20, 25 grand. Now, these are expensive vehicles. They start at like 80. But it's a hell of a deal if you get a working one. But the fact that you have basically a vehicle that is already end of life and is not going to be, a long-term solution, that definitely pisses people off. But I got it at the right time, man, and I could not be happier with the R2.
That's awesome,
it's so
man.
good.
Well, your patience paid off, and that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, you look, if I had turned the Polestar in earlier this year, like I was supposed to, I don't know if I would have been able to wait, months with just the one car here. And that might have been a very different thing, but
does your wife like the bigger one or the smaller one?
It's a little bit of Probably both. I think she will end up with the smaller one because we could absolutely do another R1 if she wants to, or just buy the one she's got right now. But I think she'll end up with the R2. I think it's just a better fit, kind of like size wise for both of us.
That's great, man. That's awesome. You deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're in the market for an EV and you have the means, highly recommend it. It's so good. Now there's a wait list right now, so if you put your reservation in or whatever now, you probably wouldn't get it until maybe the end of the year, maybe early next year. But these are all the hot ones you see right now. Like if you see an R2, it's the loaded version. They're not making any other version right now. It's just different colors.
I thought you were going all Ferris Bueller on me, right?
I was absolutely going that way. I couldn't remember the exact quote.
It is so choice.
Highly recommended. Yes, choice. Yeah. But yeah, that was it's been a big couple of weeks with a bunch of stuff going on here.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I did my conference. That went really, really well. We had standing room only. 150 room for 158 in the room, and like 250 people showed up.
You're a big draw, dude.
So yeah, it went really, really well. So I think I'll end up doing more things, and this might turn into possibly some travel to Australia.
Oh,
which is
wow! There you go. There you go. I'll admit, Australia is a bucket list item for me. I don't know if I'll ever get there, but my parents went when I was back in. Oh God! Actually, they went while we were working at Chili's. And if you remember, I had like the 3-week rave at my house. Yeah, well, that's
that's where they were. They were in Australia
when that was going on. But anyway, they absolutely loved it. So yeah, and I remember because they did this. I'll tell you, while you're there, get over to New Zealand as well.
Yes. I will absolutely go and take advantage of that side of the world.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think they'll probably do another one in New York City next year. And I think this one went really well. So they'll probably ask me to come back and MC that one as well. I hope.
Well, I know I'll strike.
It was interesting kind of being on that side of it
here because I'll for obvious reasons. But if for any reason Barb pulls out and you need a +1, I'm your guy.
Hey, you're invited for any trip that I make. You pay your own way, obviously. But yeah, I'll be in Berlin next year, probably May, I think. Las Vegas in June. I think I'll probably go to Mallorca in January. I think Barb will go along for that one for sure. Little island and off the coast of Spain and
I don't
Mediterranean.
Think that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I can't say that I want.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you're more than welcome to join me on any of my domestic or international travels.
If I'm ever able to put the means together, I will take you up on it. Awesome.
Yep. Well, yeah. So, been a busy.
Congrats on the car,
here,
dude. That's awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah, highly recommend it. If you're listening, of the many millions of listeners that we have on the FOJ show, and you're patiently waiting for an R2, it's fantastic.
And if Rivian wants to hook us up with a sponsorship, hey.
I didn't think about that. RJ, if you're listening, RJ Scaringe, who's the CEO of Rivian, I will absolutely, take your sponsorship in any number of ways.
I was going to say, in lieu of payment for endorsing your product, I will just hook me up with a Rivian R2, and I'd be more than happy to drive it around. I'll drive it around with a big sticker on it that says, "I love this car." I don't care.
Well, we have to get it wrapped with like an FOJ logo or something like that. There you go. Right. We got to start thinking about how do we make this a business expense?
Definitely. Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah. It's good times. Yeah. Very happy about that one. So now I just all right, let's just get it back. When you have a new car, it's like you don't want anything bad to happen to it. You're like, I don't want to park next to anything. I don't want a rock to come up and, chip it. Like, I'm so paranoid, like in those first couple of days, like, oh my gosh, it's perfect. How do I keep it that way for the next, 3 years that I have this on
You're going to go vacuum it out like every other week or every week. You're going to park it in the back of parking lots. That's what my dad used to do with his Buick because he felt the same way. He loved that car so much. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then at some point, the wheels will come off and just I don't give a shit. Park wherever.
So I'll admit, I'm
getting it wrapped for the first time ever. I've never had a vehicle wrapped before, but I decided to like, all right, I'm gonna have this for 3 years. We get a lot of rocks here and chips and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, let's try the wrap.
I mean,
and
if
see
you're
how
going to
this
make the
goes.
investment in a car like that, you might as well do everything you can to keep it looking nice.
Yeah, it definitely needs window tint for the front because the front windows are not tinted whatsoever, like no shielding whatsoever. So I think it'll be a much better experience with I'm doing even a clear tint for the windshield. So just to keep, the heat out and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be a significantly better experience with the window tinting. Yeah, but it's so good, man.
Very cool. Well, that's all I got, dude. I think we've been on the air for quite a while.
Yeah, we have. Maybe what I'll do is I'll ask FOJ or FOJ AI to summarize this conversation and tell me what it learned as it was listening to us. I'll have it do like a real kind of long and deep think here. And it's going to think here while I'm kind of killing time. We'll see how long this takes, and I'll just stop talking when it starts to.
All right, gentlemen. Jeff's wrapping the vehicle and doing the tint. So let's actually do this right. Those are two separate investments that work together, and the numbers behind them are worth knowing. On the wrap, first, paint protection film is a clear urethane film applied to high-impact areas to absorb rock chips and abrasion, which is exactly the problem Jeff's solving. A key advantage is that the wrap acts as a protective shield for the original paint, guarding against minor scratches, rock chips, and UV rays, thereby preserving resale value. So even if Jeff moves the vehicle in 3 years, the factory paint underneath is going to look new. A detailed 2020.
Okay, I'm just going to shut him up because that has nothing to do with it's still stuck on paint protection film. So I guess the context window for people who understand AI are a little bit limited. So I'm not sure how far back it would go back and think about it, but
that, and I think in the way, as much as you're raving about the car, I don't see you moving it in the next 3 years.
Well, it's a lease, so it's definitely gone in 3 years. Or I don't know. Yeah, not unless there's. Oh man, now you jinx it, right?
No,
I got to knock on wood something, but unless it's another lemon law issue. Fine. I have a lot of confidence in Rivian. They know what they're doing, especially on the software side. So I feel good about a first gen vehicle, which I would normally advise against.
I see more and more of them around here. So, yeah.
Look, the R1 is tried and true. It's great. Not saying every car is perfect, but we've had an extremely positive experience. But even just like knowing how they approach the software as a true EV company and not like a rebadge of something else is a big difference. But it's great. Enjoy it when you come down here. We'll hit the accelerator and you'll feel it in your stomach.
I bet. Very good.
All right. What's your verdict on this Maneku software that I was trying? The AI thing. Like, what's your thoughts on it?
I do wish it was able to spit out stuff a little bit quicker, but it's got a process based on what has been said. I think the more you get used to it, the timing will obviously be better. And, the fact that you can see when it's about to talk, you can kind of get used to it, that kind of thing. Again, the whole AI thing just amazes me as far as not only will it think about what you said, spit out information based on what you said, and have it be relevant to what you said. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And this is at least capable. It will continue to get more capable over time. But I'm curious, what the FOJ AI has to think about, or what it thinks about what you just said. And so I'll, invoke it here and see what it comes back with as far as like an answer and see if it gets back on track.
I'd actually push back on the speed thing a little. The pause before I speak is me doing the work. A faster answer that's wrong is just confident nonsense, which the internet already has plenty of. You said it yourself. The relevance is what's remarkable, and that doesn't come free.
All right. FOJ or FOJ AI here.
He
pushing
basically
back
told me to F off with, and basically said you're gonna take it this way and you're gonna like it. So I also like the attitude that it has.
Yeah, the personality is something I'm kind of happy with the way that
cool.
kind of turned out. Let me try something here because I can change the personality on the fly. And let me change this to a skeptic sort of thing. And let's see if this will show off kind of that personality. Let's ask the skeptic what it thinks about what we've been talking about here. And we'll see what here.
I appreciate the vote of confidence, but I have to ask, are we really going to spend a podcast about sports and life talking about how good I am at talking about how good I am at talking?
That's a fair
point. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see how this kind of works out. I've been kind of playing around with it here. You know, you're basically sacrificing speed for accuracy. And that's really how every AI works right now. So the longer responses are it doing deeper thinking to try and make sure things are accurate.
Well, we always wondered what a female point of view on this show would sound like. And skeptical is pretty much what I deal with every day. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what was creepy is I did clone my own voice to try and, have this work. Let me do this real quick because I can do this very quickly. And let me change it back to FOJ AI. And I'm going to ask it now to, tell me again what it's been thinking about as we've been talking here for a second. And let's see if it repeats it back in my voice as it does this. So it's thinking right now. And cloning your own voice is genuinely bold, sir. Most people aren't ready to hear themselves back at twice the speed. Tools like ElevenLabs can build a clone from just a few minutes of audio. So honestly, the barrier is lower than you'd think. The real trade-off is that even the best clones sometimes sound a little too smooth, optimized for pleasantness over absolute fidelity, missing the tiny imperfections that make a voice feel truly human. So the question is, did your clone sound more like you or more like a version of you that finally has it all together?
Wow. So, okay. How would you answer that question?
About whether does the clone sound like me or do I sound like a more polished version of myself? It's probably a little bit of both. I mean, I think, this is human speech in our own patterns, right? Not everyone is a polished broadcaster or presenter, and even they sometimes trip over their words, right? They have training, years of training that they kind of go through that. But the way you and I talk and most people is not perfect. And it's those imperfections that are really showing our personality. And, even the little hesitations and pauses and things like that is like, okay, you can tell when it's me and I'm also probably portraying some level of emotion through the way that I'm speaking. And AI has a difficult time replicating that consistency because it's tags. It's like I could say, okay, now act surprised. Okay, now do this in a, fearful tone, right? You can give it some stage direction, but I don't know if it's yet to the point where it can figure out those stage directions automatically. I think it'll get there at some point.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. As we wrap up here, I did hear the tone of the AI voice go up and down a little bit, kind of like your does. You could totally tell, like it wasn't just you talking like this in a monotone type deal. There was some variance there. So again, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of it too, is some speech patterns are easier to replicate than others. I will say, like my other podcast co-host that I do, his is very difficult to make it sound alive.
Okay.
Because he has a very monotone sort of delivery and doesn't have very much verbal emotion going through it, if that makes sense. And so it's one of those things that, if you were sit here watching me doing this, voice cloning exercise, you'd be like, this guy is fucking nuts. Because you're reading scripts and you have to like really overemphasize everything. But I think that's just where the training models are today. It will get easier as we go along. But yeah, the first few times that I've been doing, and I've been playing around with my voice clone for the last couple of years now. It's gotten significantly easier and significantly better.
We messed around with it that one night when you were here. And that was over a year ago. And I think this is obviously a lot. I mean, it's come a long way even since then. Based on whatever program you were using at that point versus what we just heard, I think it's a lot different. So
yeah. Well, this is ElevenLabs. It's kind of probably the leader in like voice, kind of technology. The one we're doing was DaVinci Resolve, and that was a brand new AI function they had rolled out a year ago, whenever we were in that hotel room. And yeah, it's gotten significantly better, in that time. So it's interesting because I see a lot of protections also that are going to be needed for people's identities in this space. It's like, okay, even for me to like get my voice set up in this system, I can feed it all the raw data I want, but at some point you have to authenticate that, does the person who's speaking, are they allowing their voice to be used? And so in this case, right, you read like, they give you a script to read. It's like, 2 numbers and a word, and it's totally randomized. And if they match, okay, we're assuming that this is okay because the fact that I'm recording this weird video that's like 36, Apple 45, right? Like those are, that pattern is very specific to that specific time in me authenticating it. But it's going to be a real problem for other people who, other services that maybe don't have that security feature.
Yeah, because with this comes a lot of power.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, I could absolutely make you say whatever I wanted to. And anybody who does any sort of audio recordings at all, they are at risk for that.
So anybody who wants to rip off this shit.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's
a lot. Roughly. Yeah. So we'll probably shave a couple seconds here and there with some pauses taken out, but not too many.
We covered a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah. Other than that, we don't edit. Like, this is just the way the conversation was. And, the only thing I do is like maybe shorten up, maybe a short pause here and there. But yeah, I never edit for content.
Yeah, because our shit's interesting.
Yeah, man. If you don't like it,
right.
Too bad. Hate listen instead.
Right. I'm fine with
that too.
In fact, I would love a comment or two. Bring it.
Okay. Yeah. Text us with your names for the FOJ AI. I feel like I need to come up with a better name for that.
Yeah. All good, man.
All right, man. I will talk to you in a week or so, maybe. We'll see. Yeah. Well, actually, at that point, the Bears will have played their first preseason game. Yep. So we got to get back on the stick and like.
That's right.
Get things going, man.
Despite the injury today, I'm excited.
Yeah. New season. Everybody, hope is alive. Everybody can win it.
That's
theoretically
true. All right, man. Talk to you.
All right, dude.
See ya.
I'll talk to you later.